Welcome to the Downtown Madison Happenings Podcast, where we hear from our members and learn something new about downtown Madison. This podcast is brought to you by American Family Insurance. American Family opened its first offices in downtown Madison in 1927, and its downtown presence continues today with the Spark Building, which is home of the American Family Insurance Institute for Corporate and Social Impact and the Dream Bank, an inspirational community space. American Family is still based in Madison. The company's mission is to inspire, protect, and restore dreams through exceptional products, service, and community partnerships. Now, I can't think of anyone who builds community partnerships better than our guest today, Cheri Dubiel, the Executive Director of Community Shares of Wisconsin, who's going to talk about the really cool work they're doing for their nonprofit members to get their messages out on important social and environmental justice topics in our community. Cheri, how are you doing?
I am doing great. I am really happy to be here. We're proud members of DMI, so thanks so much for having us.
We're just not so thankful. You all have been members for years. You are based downtown, and so many of your members, I think it's a dozen now, if it's 1,000 Friends of Wisconsin and Sustain Dane and Clean Wisconsin, and I could just keep going on, Commonwealth, that are our members as well. Really great organization. I hope you get to learn more about the power and impact that Community Shares has on our community. So tell me, what is Community Shares?
Sure.
And what groups are you working with?
Yeah, so Community Shares of Wisconsin, we actually celebrated our 50th anniversary last year, which is pretty awesome. And so we actually were founded by a group of college students and anti-war protesters in 1971. And the original funds that they raised were to bail out anti-war protesters who had been arrested. And so we have a very strong activist history. And the way we continued to develop the original fundraising strategy at Community Shares was little coffee cans at the cash registers of a number of local cooperative businesses back in the early 70s. And now we call that the CHIP program, and that continues to this day at the Willie Street Co-op's multiple locations. We also still do the Roundup program at Cap Center Market. In addition to those types of fundraising, we have become probably most well known over the past 30 to 40 years for workplace giving campaigns. So we complement other workplace giving federations in a number of workplaces here in Madison, including a number of public employee campaigns. A huge number of our contributors every year are state employees, city, county employees, public school employees, so we're super happy to be connected with those folks. Other fundraising strategies that we're becoming better known for again in the last few years is the Big Share, and we work in partnership with DMI for the Big Share, and that is an online giving day that takes place on the first Tuesday of March. And what's the same about all of these different fundraising strategies that I've described are that they're all based in more of a grassroots type fundraising. They're all community-centric fundraising strategies that are focused on generating donations and engagement and enthusiasm from the everyday donor. And so anywhere from a few cents at the cash register to $5 a paycheck or whatever makes sense to employees and donors in the community. We welcome all donations, and we pride ourselves in coming to donors where they're at and making sure that everybody has a chance to support the wonderful groups that we support at Community Shares. And speaking of those groups, we have right now just about 70 member nonprofits. They all represent social and environmental justice issues in the Dane County and actually larger Wisconsin as well. So that's a little bit more about who we are.
Just to know those grassroots history and that 50 years on, congratulations on 50 years as an organization. You are 1 year older than we are. When late 1972, we were started. So we've been together for a long time.
Yeah.
For those grassroots efforts and the work that you're still doing and really as the sort of frame of reference and kind of your mission statement as to who you are is so powerful. Talk more about, though, these 70 nonprofits, right? They really run the gamut. Obviously, they're all based in sort of social and environmental justice, but they run the gamut from, 1,000 Friends of Wisconsin, who work, in transportation space and all these other spaces, to, WECA, right? Who really got the full alphabet there, who Wisconsin Early Childhood Association. They really are fighting for causes in their own grassroots ways. How do you all connect with the nonprofits that you work with?
Yeah. Well, first of all, we are a membership-based organization. And so in order to be represented by Community Shares, we have a very robust membership application process. And then once you become a member of Community Shares, we are happy to have members that have been with us for years and years and years. Our oldest members are, for example, the Rape Crisis Center, Tenant Resource Center, Commonwealth Development is one of our oldest members, as you mentioned before. We consider not only fundraising as part of our service to our members, but also capacity building and technical support. And so as part of the programs we offer in fundraising for the Big Share and workplace giving, we provide a lot of training and help the members with developing, for example, with the Big Share. When we started this almost 9 or 10 years ago, we had a few groups that didn't even have a website. They didn't have an online giving portal. And now our member groups are leading in the community on how to raise money online. And we have members like GSafe that are raising $50,000 a year during the Big Share on a one-day event. And so we have developed these highly sophisticated fundraising machines at all of our member groups. And when they all come together in these cooperative ways of fundraising, like the Big Share and like workplace giving, we're able to have a great impact. And I like to let people know that there are thousands of people in the community that support Community Shares through workplace giving, the Big Share, the CHIP program. So we touch every corner of the community, and we work together collaboratively to address the root causes of social problems. And so one of the biggest issues that we've been addressing over the past 5 years is through our Racial Justice Initiative. And we recognized as a funder, as a nonprofit, as a leader in the community, that we weren't doing enough to specifically understand systemic racism and the impact that it has and all of the other issues that we work on at Community Shares. And so that is an example of a way that we also lead the way on different social justice issues as well. Another big issue for us that I know is another big issue for DMI is access and disability rights. We have a number of groups working on accessing transportation and disability rights advocacy as well. So groups like Disability Rights Wisconsin, the Wisconsin Council of the Blind and Visually Impaired. So one way that we like to talk about what sets Community Shares groups apart is that focus on advocacy and education. And so we do what we can to create an opportunity for groups to come together and collaborate. We'll be providing a collaboration award coming up at our awards celebration that's coming up, and I'll share that in a moment as well.
One of the things that was powerful about Community Shares is that collaboration, right? You just talked about how many of the groups are focused on the important DE&I work. We talked about accessibility, which is a big subject here, and you all were huge help and still continue to be a huge help on our Beyond Compliance Task Force. I think it's unique to your organization that you're able to bring together these nonprofits that have the base sort of same mission, right? Again, environmental and social justice, but you're helping connect them to be better organizations themselves. So, how much collaboration do these organizations, have with each other? And how are you all help creating those connections and bonds for those organizations to make sure that they can collaborate?
Yeah, well, we believe that the cooperative structure that we have at Community Shares, each of our member groups has a seat on our board of directors. And so we have a huge board. Right now we have the 70 nonprofits, each have a member on our board, and then we have 6 community representatives from different partners in the community as well. And so we believe that because they're all coming together to lead us at Community Shares, they're building those collaborative relationships just from that perspective. And then that leads to them networking with each other, connecting with each other. There was a big group of folks that worked on access to voting during the pandemic and making sure that everybody had a right to access safe voting. And I'm going to pull up my screen right now and show information about our Community Changemaker Awards event that's coming up. And that's on Thursday, September 22nd. And I'm going to share with you another information about our Collaboration Award winners. I discussed the ways that groups collaborate. And this year, we'll be recognizing 3 other groups that have come together to collaborate. The Wisconsin Environmental Health Network, which is program on the environmental arm of Physicians for Social Responsibility, Midwest Environmental Advocates, and the River Alliance of Wisconsin. They came together to use the power of the law to protect the health of Wisconsin communities. And this is the type of exciting collaboration that groups are working on together at Community Shares. And by seeing their association with each other through Community Shares, seeing each other at board meetings, seeing each other at events, serving on communities together, they're making connections with each other. Our housing groups, we have housing groups like Commonwealth, housing initiatives that come together, Project Home, that come together to work on access to affordable housing in the community as well. So a number of issues that folks care about, and bringing those groups together in a collaborative leadership way helps them develop those relationships outside of Community Shares.
Well, I highly recommend attending the Community Changemaker Awards. Any event that Community Shares Wisconsin runs there's such positive, great energy in the space. I also highly recommend getting involved in the Big Share. You know, we've loved being a part of it for the last few years. We ran an event right before one of the last events, right before COVID.
Right.
But the energy in 2020,
yes,
the room is palpable, and you can feel what we just talked about, that collaboration between the groups happening live,
right,
in front of you, and it creates such a powerful environment. Okay, so what makes you most excited about, as we hopefully, knock on wood, we're kind of entering out of this COVID phase? What makes you most excited for what's going to happen in the next few years for Community Shares, and what's going to happen for your members?
Well, I think that what I'm excited about is continuing to expand the reach of our groups in the community and continuing to expand the strategies we have for connecting with community members. And so any way that we can continue to build a coalition with members of the community as well as our member groups, so finding additional opportunities to come together. Also, continuing to lead on these social justice and environmental justice issues, having an entity like Community Shares that groups can be part of that help them build awareness of themselves and help us promote the excellent work that they do. One example, the Collaboration Award winners last year were the leaders in the Black Lives Matter movement that came about in 2020. Groups like Freedom Inc., Dane County Time Bank, and I'm forgetting the other group, sorry. But just amazing leaders in the community that lead the way, not just for the community, but for Community Shares as well. And so groups like Freedom Inc. that are doing innovative leadership, they're switching from a co-executive leadership model to now they're going to have, I believe, 4 or 5 leaders, co-leaders in their organization. So we learn from them. We continue to promote their voices. One other thing that I wanted to share, I'll share my screen here real quick, is we have workplace giving campaigns are going to be kicking off here starting in mostly in September. I believe we have at least one that starts in August. And workplace giving, as I mentioned, is a great way for folks in the community to come together to show their support of the issues that we support at Community Shares of Wisconsin. So we're always excited for the fall workplace giving season because our donors at workplaces are amazing and provide the backbone of support of Community Shares. So if you don't have a workplace giving campaign with Community Shares, you can reach out to me at Community Shares at cdubiel@communityshares.com or give us a call at 608-256-1066.
Now, here's a harder odd question for you, Cheri. Did you have my script of questions beforehand? Because you right at the end, you answer everyone a question. My next question was going to be, how can our members
well, Jason, I've done a lot of these.
Well,
and I used to be a host for a public affair on WORT, and so I think like an interviewer too.
I mean, I'm like 4 deep now, and I'm like, well, I was going to ask that question, but you get all the information. But so this is what I think we want all of our nonprofit and our for-profit members to know. This is the time, right? You can get involved in the giving. Also, obviously, in March as well, with the big share that's going to be coming up again this year. But please, get involved with the Community Shares and so many great profits. I mean, there's literally a dozen of their members that we share together in all of the different fields, and participate, and make sure you go to the Community Changemaker Awards on Thursday, September 22nd. So please continue to support Community Shares because they help support our entire community. All right, we're going to go change direction completely in the fast.
Okay.
It's 5. I did give her a little bit of warning that we were going to do this, but maybe I won't ask that question.
I have to tell you, Jason, these are the things that I have the most anxiety about.
Oh,
okay.
Madeline.
I'll do my best. Let's do this.
Do you want me to? All right.
No, go. Just go. We got this.
No.
Okay.
I respect that completely. You know what? We're going to do something we've never done before.
Okay.
You're going to ask me 5 furious and fast questions, and I will answer them. Please do not ask what my favorite business is downtown, though. That might make me hard. So we'll turn it around on you. Hope that's less anxiety.
Okay, good.
No, I have no problem in front of a camera or mic. So yes.
Yeah. Well, it's not that I have a problem in front of a camera or mic. It's that like coming up with my favorite of things.
Fair enough. So yes. So I'm
going to ask you.
Ask me the questions. Fire away.
All right. What's your favorite coffee shop on State Street?
Oh, well, see, now I'm going to get in trouble.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's whatever. It's fine. Bless all of them, but I'm going to say Michelangelo's. I was just there yesterday. That apple scone, like apple pie scone they have, it's so good. It can't be good for you, but it is so. So I'm
okay. So I pulled the rug out from under you and asked you a bad question. The first
That's
one.
Fine. I apologize to Sentia Tea. I apologize to Starbucks and to Collective and all the rest that are on the street.
Okay. My next question. What's your favorite color, Jason?
Well, it's blue.
Blue.
Yeah, it's blue.
Okay, mine are blue and green. Okay. What is your favorite flower?
I love an orchid. Because I just love how they just keep giving. I can't do this. I don't have a green thumb, but if you just keep giving it love, it keeps giving you love back again. It's awesome. A really remarkable plant, flower. See, that's how much I know about science. I gave one to my mom years ago, and she still has it. Like 10 years later.
Nice.
Really pretty.
Nice. Yeah, I've never been able to make my orchids rebloom.
No, I can't, but my mom can. So awesome. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Mom.
Okay, here is another one. Where were you born, Jason?
Well, that's an interesting question. I was actually technically born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. November 25th, 1976, which was Thanksgiving Day. My parents were waiting for me to be born, and we were moved out to Washington, D.C. 3 weeks after I was born. So yes, it must have been one harrowing of a car ride out to Washington, D.C.
Oh, my gosh.
4 or 5 years in Washington, D.C. as a kid, and then grew up, though, in Minneapolis. My parents still live in the same house right outside of downtown.
Oh, cool. I grew up on a dairy farm in Whitehall, Wisconsin, Trempealeau County.
Yeah. Is it still farming?
My brother is still farming on the family farm. And my dad bought
how many cows?
Well, we don't do dairy anymore, and that has changed our lives dramatically. Because
It's labor. It's pretty labor intensive. My dad was a dairy farmer growing up, and
oh yeah,
not anymore
yeah.
because of labor intensity. But I thank you so much for doing it because I had a bowl of milk this morning, so I'm glad.
Yeah. Okay, my final question. What is your dream vacation?
Well, great question because I'm going on vacation tomorrow.
Oh, yay.
I'm very excited. I'm going on vacation. So time sensitive to this one. It gets released later, but my dream vacation, I think it's to do. I lived a lot of my life in Africa, but I've never done Eastern Africa. But so maybe Kenya, Tanzania, Dar es Salaam. I would love that. Or my second would be New Zealand. If we're talking about dreams, it's far away too. All right, I'm just gonna. Since you asked the question, what would your favorite
Well, I
dream
have
be?
my big 50 is this year, and so I celebrate mine with DMI.
And with community shares. Well done. Well done. Yeah.
And my dream, which I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it happen, but I'll make it happen at some point, is to go to Iceland and watch the Northern Lights from like a remote cabin with like a glass ceiling or a big wall of windows. I just want to like soak in the weird, cool environment of Iceland. So there, that was. See, now I got to answer the questions by creating my own questions. And so there we go. We got it.
See, we kind of you did the Fast and Furious 2 because I fired back on the color. Yep. And I did the 5. So I feel very good about this. Cheri Dubiel, the Executive Director of Community Shares of Wisconsin, thank you so much for joining us on the Downtown Madison Happenings podcast, brought to you by American Family. Please support all the great work the Community Shares is doing, and all of their members, over 70 members, doing amazing things in social and environmental justice in our community. Cheri, thank you so much for being with us. Hope you have a great rest of the day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.